distinguished guest. I'd like to thank once again to our chairperson program for organizing this event, and I feel really honored to be able to speak here. The previous speaker, Mr. Jangir Alom, provided a very good synopsis of what the TVET sector is happening in Bangladesh. And my talk is going to be short, but I'm happy to take questions as necessary. I'll be talking about the internationalization process, as we are talking about different models and standards in TVET education around the world. I'll be talking about what is the way forward for Bangladesh, what is the way forward for TVET education to internationalize and come to a similar sort of a standard where our TVET graduates will no longer be, undermined by other social means. The opportunity in various ways, if you look at economic, social, and other opportunities. Opportunity for what? That is where we need to work together to do that for TVET graduates. I would like to start with a statement. And when I was preparing this, I was thinking, this is a fantastic statement to start with. And the statement, I'll read it out, you can read it. It says, we have considered the emerging challenge of 21st century, a century that will be an era of knowledge, information, communication, globalization, and a revolution in information and communication technology. We have concluded that TVET as an integral component of lifelong learning has a crucial role to play in this new era as an effective tool to realize the objective of a culture of peace, environmental, sound, sustainable development, social cohesion, and international citizenship. And I've just hidden who said that or which organization. And can anyone imagine how old this statement is? This statement is done, this work is done by UNICEF, and this statement has come from a report published in 1999, almost 20 years ago. And since then, 20 years ago, the world has actually decided that TVET is going to define the 21st century. And it is good for us that we realize, Bangladesh government has realized that yes, this is the time we should move forward. And thanking DigiTechnical for taking it further. This needs to happen. So this is the emergence, the importance of TVET education. Well, just to give you another synopsis, look at the two types of education: applied education and academic education. And what we are talking here is the applied, the vocational education. And in vocational education, when you grow up, you study more, you do a master's degree and PhD in the area of technical and vocational education, that will be considered as professional education as well. Some sort of a training bachelor degree program. So you can see the reason for showing this here is look at the income group. Again, I have to congratulate the bureaucrats and the leaders of this country. We become the middle income country, lower middle income country, right? So you can see lower middle income, upper income, and high income countries, and the enrollment by income group in particular sense. So you can see here that for vocational education, if you look at the higher income countries, got 93.5%. And then upper middle, 79.8. Lower middle have 97.9. And then you look at the low income countries, which Bangladesh was just a few months ago or a year ago. And a lot of other countries in many other continents you see, their enrollment rate is 47%. So it is quite obvious that when a nation has got that sort of a skill, without a definite skill, will never become a high income or middle income country. This is how important TVET education is. Look at this one. This actually shows number, millions, by region. So number of vocational enrollment by level and region. So you can see that different level, 2, 3, 4 and so forth. Okay? And then you see East Asia and the Pacific. What are those countries included there? Japan, Philippines. Of those countries, they are very highly skilled. Look at their number, 30 million. Okay. And then look at Europe and Central Asia. Don't get shocked by the number because their population is much lower. That's why their enrollment is lower as well. Then Latin America and Caribbean. Then look at Middle East, 2 million. North America, 1.2 million. South Asia, that is where it includes India and other countries in Pakistan and Sri Lanka. So that shows how important it is, important for regions' economic development, the connection between economic development and TVET education. The yellow dotted one, you will see all those industries where artificial intelligence is going to grab your job, my job, everyone's job. And that is not far away, just 5 years from now. Just 5 years from now. And this data is as new as 2 days old. And Bangladesh cannot just escape this. Artificial intelligence, the upgradation of skills will take place. If you are not skilled, then the business people, they will bring people from where they can. Because the corporate world, their focus is to make money. And the easy way to do that, to take that agenda forward, is to bring in people from anywhere. And that's why we see every year Bangladesh loses $5 billion of foreign currency paying our neighboring, experts from our neighboring countries. In my opinion, I don't know, yes, they have got superior management capacity and other things, but why can't we? Why can't we save that $5 billion every year? So that's our target. If we need to go somewhere, we need to stop this, or we need to equip ourselves to be able to merge and work with them. This is the challenge. In one slide, I tried to sort of put together challenges for engineering education. What is the work for engineers, including all of you? Routine process work increasingly being displaced by automation. You are seeing that, which, however, creates new need for skilled workers to monitor and maintain systems. What are those? As well as technical proficiency, skill development will be needed in those red bottom ones. You look at build capacity, creativity and innovation, entrepreneurship, ability to critically assess information, and so forth, communication, digital literacy, financial literacy, and problem solving skills. We need to have all these. So the major issues then is if TVET education, TVET institutions are ready to deliver it. We are talking about training our teachers, we're talking about giving the best skill to our students, but if we don't improve our institutions, we'll not be able to deliver anything. So that's the backbone before we even think of delivering something. Build institutions, TVET institutions. So steps in internationalization process. There are basics like, I've looked at model from North America, Europe, I've looked at model from Australia and many other countries. And these are the most important ones I picked. First one, internationalization of curricula. Curriculum need to be standardized with Australia or somewhere else where you want to be. internationalization of staff development. If we cannot bring them to that standard, then Rob is not going to come and talk to you. I don't know if I've upset it, but this is true. You need to bring up the skills of the teacher as at the level of Rob and other teachers around the world. Looking at linking Polytechnic to the world. Your Polytechnic institutions need to be linked with other Polytechnic institutes around the world. We'll talk about that in a minute. Achieving international best practice. We're just, for the last 3 years I've been coming here, we're just talking about how to follow someone, how to do things like the Indians do, how to do things like the Sri Lankans do or the Australians do. We never thought of bring a best practice, what we can do from here. Okay? Developing internationalized culture. So if you're talking about internationalization, the culture of internationalization has to be, we have to breathe in internationalization, breathe out internationalization, drink internationalization, water like water. Every day in our life we have to breathe in internationalization. So this is what I thought, a model, what internationalization of TVET sector need to be in Bangladesh context. Okay, I cannot read from here, but you see the top 6 blocks shows all these important factors. What are these? I think I have to go up there. So the first one is increasing trade needs. So the more product we're going to sell to another country and buy, the more trade we're going to do, that will help us internationalize. Growing export orientation, which is happening with our garment industry, but we have to do that a lot more, even selling our rickshaws somewhere in Australia. That is possible. Globalization of economy, and that is happening because we are going to become a developed country in 2041 and 2041. Growing interdependence of nations. So every nation in this climate has got some sort of an interdependence, and we need to, our foreign policy need to work out how we can become more interdependent, how we can make another country inevitable, and they feel like, oh, we cannot live without Bangladesh, we have to work with Bangladesh. Such as, if you say, if the Philippine government said, we are not going to send another, nursing graduates to Saudi Arabia or somewhere else, those countries will be crippled in 2 days. Think about the percentage of, experts, medical experts or TVET experts working in Singapore from the Philippines. Without this country, 10 countries around the world, they will be, crippled. We have to make that interdependence, that sort of a position. Communication revolution, which is some extent Bangladesh is happening in Bangladesh. Emergence of knowledge-intensive economy. We have been still talking about just production phase of economy. We cannot beat China. We have to try beating them, as well as think beyond China, what else we can do. These are the, I think 4 or 5 questions that we talked about, what we need to do. On the other hand, from the bottom, you see key relationship from TVET sector. What are the actors? Responsiveness to the change. We need to, our teachers training institution, our polytechnic institutions, our universities, none of them are capable of responding to change. We are very good in talking about change the way it is coming and taking us and pushing us out of our, our own home, but we are not able to respond effectively on this change. Client focus. This is a concept I learned when I went through Australia. The way I have to treat my students. It's the way we have to change our thinking. And I just thought of a process. DT can develop a checklist and send it to all the institutions, all the polytechnics in Bangladesh, and say, okay, if you do this every year, you get 10,000 taka more because you are doing better than the others. Because I think everyone knows how to pull a donkey. You kick the donkey from behind, or you show a carrot. Sometimes carrot works better than the other way. I should not use this metaphor, but have to use it to sort of show the efficiency how a ministry where they have a lot of challenges, working with hundreds of stakeholders, difficult to maneuver and achieve broader objectives. But this is one of the objectives. It's a long-term process, but that can achieve something, and that can actually shift our thinking, whether the institutions are capable of developing an internationalization culture within them. Because if we are not internationalized in our mind, we'll never be internationalized. And that's the process, simple process. If you guys start thinking about how you can internationalize your institution, when you are teaching mathematics, when you are teaching some engineering subjects, you can say, all right, what is taught in Australia and what is taught in Bangladesh, what is taught in another country, showing a comparison. That's the way you can start, that's the basics. So I think that's one of the simplest possibility that DT or BT can take forward. That's where I'm going to finish, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to answer. Thank you very much.